Hi friends, it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. For today's video, I have my expense tracking for the second week in June. So we're going to talk about everything I spent from my monthly budget this week. We're going to write everything in, categorize everything, color code it, and get it ready for my weekly check-in, which you will see tomorrow. So if you're interested in seeing everything I spent in June, week 2, just keep on watching. Okay, so I have my expense tracker from my Lulling Leaves collection. You can get this as well as a ton of other super cute budget printables on my Etsy shop. Just find the one you like, download it. You can print it as many times as you want. For this video, we are going to be tracking expenses for the week of June 7th through the 13th. So I'm just going to put that across the top so that I remember that that's the week we're in. And we're just going to start listing everything I spent. We had quite a few food and household transactions. Last week when I was doing my budget check-in, I talked about how we did really well that first week, and I was excited because typically in the first week of the month we spend the most on food and household stuff, and then the rest of the month we spend less. Well, we proved that not to be the case this week. We definitely spent more in food and household this week than we did last week. We had quite a few household expenses that are not regular reoccurring expenses, which I'll talk about. We also did a little bit of eating out, but not terrible. We're still doing really well in the eating out department, for us anyway. Doing well for you might look like not eating out at all, but for us it's just eating out less, spending less. So let's just get into this so that this video is not an hour long. I'm going to take my highlighters and kind of put them off to the side for when I need them later. And I'm going to zoom you guys in so you can see a little bit better what I'm writing. And we're just going to get into it with the first day of the week, which was the 7th. We did pull out our cash for our spending money. If you are not familiar with my budgeting process, we do our spending money in cash. I pull it out at the start of the week, and we just consider it spent at that point. Whether it's still sitting in an envelope or not, it's taken out of our budget, so it's spent in the eyes of our budget. It's $100. It's $60 for my husband, $20 for myself, and $20 for my son for allowance. So that was our first transaction. We did that right at the first of the week. And then we paid the bills that we needed to pay for the week, which was just one. It was Michigan gas. So that gets categorized as bills. And the amount that we paid for that was $67. And then the rest of the spending is just our typical grocery shopping, food spending, that sort of thing. So we did have a couple more transactions on this day. My husband went to Tractor Supply and bought something or another. I don't really know what it was. Something probably for fixing something or tinkering with something, because that's what my husband does. So I wrote this in as a miscellaneous expense since I didn't know really how else to categorize it. And the amount that he spent was $7.41. And then we had a little bit of grocery shopping this day. I found a really good deal on canned vegetables on Walmart's website. They ended up being less than 50 cents a can. We don't typically buy canned vegetables. Did I say frozen vegetables? If I did, I meant canned. We don't typically buy canned vegetables, but with the price of groceries skyrocketing, I thought it might be a good idea to have some cans of vegetables on hand. So they came in packs of 12. I bought 12 cans of green beans, 12 cans of corn, and 12 cans of peas. I had them delivered to my house, free delivery with Walmart Plus. So we're gonna calculate that as grocery and household, since we combined those categories this month. And the amount that I spent on 36 cans of vegetables was $16.46. I thought that was a pretty good deal, definitely less than we would pay for frozen, so we went with it. Okay, so that was all of the spending on the 7th, I believe. We had a no spend day on the 8th. We didn't spend any money, which I love to see. Then on the 9th, my oldest son, Robert, actually treated us to Panda Express. So he paid for the majority of it. We kicked in enough to add to the cash that he had to get us the meal that we wanted. So for Panda, that's food and household. And the amount that we paid was $15, and he covered the rest. Okay, then on the 10th, I went to Dollar Tree and just picked up a couple of little things we needed. And that's also food and household. I love having those two categories combined. I wrote grocery and household there, but whatever, I know what I mean. It makes it so much easier to kind of separate everything. I don't have to go through receipts and figure out what on the receipt was a household expense versus what was a food expense. I love having everything grouped. I will probably do this again in the future. My apologies, you guys. It's pretty early in the morning. I haven't quite finished my coffee. Trying to get this filmed because today's actually Austin's last day of school. He'll be home very shortly because it's a half day, and I want to be able to hang out with him for a bit and not have to worry about getting this done. So at Dollar Tree, as I ramble, we spent $5. Also on the 10th, we did go to Taco Bell. So that was our like one eating out expense really that came from our budget. Obviously this $15 for Panda Express, but $15 when it comes to eating out for our family is nothing. So this was like our main eating out. We're trying to stick to just one time a week. So I don't know, I think we're being successful. We spent $29.19. So not too shabby. Definitely significantly less than what we typically spend. Okay, then we went camping over the weekend, and on the 11th at the campground we got a bag of ice. So that's also food and household expense. Like I said, lots of food expenses, but they're just little trips here and there, except the one at the end where we did our weekly grocery shopping, which we'll get there. $286 is what we spent on ice. And then we had to buy a gas can. We needed gas for the lawnmower and our little UTV that we have up there. So we had to buy a gas can to put the gas in, and then we had to fill it with gas. So we went to Harbor Freight to buy a gas can. And so I went ahead and categorized this as a miscellaneous expense, and the amount that we spent was $21.19 on a 5-gallon gas can. And then of course we had to fill up said gas can. We did that at a Meijer gas station. So that was gas, and the amount that we spent for that was $26. $26 for 5 gallons of gas, you guys. Insane. Okay, then we went into Meijer to grab just a couple of things that we needed for the weekend for eating. We got some steaks and a few other odds and ends, and the amount that we spent for that was $47.36. Then, as I mentioned, we got a couple of household things that are not typical reoccurring expenses for us. So I bought some stuff to do meal prep. My youngest son, Austin, and I are getting ready to start really focusing on eating healthy. He wants to bulk up over the summer. I want to slim down quite a bit, hopefully. So we bought some things to help with that. We bought a food chopper from Amazon to help make chopping vegetables easier. So we categorized that as household, so that goes under the food and household category. This is not something we will have to buy again, but it is something we needed. Well, I guess we could have done without it, but it's something we wanted for our little health and wellness journey. Then we also got some replacement mop heads from Amazon, so that also comes from food and household. And this is a 4-pack of mop heads for my spin mop. And how much was that? $19.07. We also bought some food prep containers from Amazon. So that's also food and household. Not something we'll have to buy again, but we needed for meal prepping. That was $16.95. We also on this day ran and got drinks from Speedway. We just got slushies because it was so hot outside. And that amount that we spent was $5.69. And then lastly, I did my grocery shopping for the upcoming week. So typically I shop on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. Last week we ran out of K-Cups, so I had to shop early on Monday. Because of that, now we're in a cycle of shopping on Mondays. It's fine. It's just I need to make sure that I plan ahead for that. So we went ahead and did our grocery shopping. You will see that grocery haul next Monday. I like to keep my grocery hauls consistently posted on Monday, so you'll see everything I purchased with this money next week. But this was Walmart. We did the Walmart grocery delivery, food and household, so many food expenses, you guys. And the amount we spent was nope, I'm lying. Was $133.64 because we also tipped our driver. So that was all of our expenses this week. Tons of food and household expenses. It's going to add up to quite a lot, but overall I'm happy with how much we spent on eating out. It could have been less, right? We could have not eaten out at all, but I'm pretty proud of us for not spending $100 on eating out this week, which is what we typically do. Lots of food and household expenses, but most of them are just little small things here and there. Now those do add up, which we will see, but overall I'm pretty happy with how the week went. It could have been much worse. So we're gonna go ahead and start categorizing things. You guys know I like to do that by color, and so we're gonna start with our spending, which I use this purple marker for, and we're just going to highlight everything under this spending category, which we just had the one transaction, and then I'm going to make a little key down here. So for spending, we spent $100. You guys probably can't see that, but I can see it, so that's okay. All right, let's do bills, which again is pretty easy because it's just the one. We paid so many bills last week. You can see all that blue last week. So we just had one to take care of this week. And that was $67. So bills, $67. All right, then miscellaneous I'm going to do in this bright orange color. We just had a couple of transactions. So we had Tractor Supply here. And Harbor Freight here. So for miscellaneous, I'm gonna pull in my calculator for this one, so I'm just gonna pull in the calculator on my phone. We had $7.41 plus $21.19 for a total, oh my gosh, you guys can't see that at all. For a total of $28.60. And then the rest is food. Oh my goodness. So for food and household, we're gonna do this yellow color, and we're gonna add them up as we go. So we had $16.46 plus 15 plus 5 plus $29.19 plus $2.86. I'm already cringing at how much this is going to be. Oh, I forgot about gas, so we'll go back for gas. $47.36 plus $21.19 plus $19.07 plus $16.95. Yikes, you guys. Plus $5.69 plus $133.64. So we spent $312.41 on food this week. Last week, for reference, we spent $288.90. So we did spend more this week, but we did have those household expenses that are not the norm. And grocery prices are just up. So the fact that this category encompasses any food, any groceries, like eating out, household expenses, lots of different things, it's actually not too bad. But if we continue to spend like this, we're going to be over our budget. So need to really be careful in the next week. All right, and then gas. We had just the one transaction. I do desperately need to fill up my car, so there will be a gas transaction on next week's expense tracker for quite a lot because my car is sitting on empty. So for gas, then $26. So let's get a total really quickly. 100 plus 67 plus 28.60 plus 312.41 plus 26. We spent a total of $534.01 out of our monthly budget this week. So that's going to wrap up this video. I've got everything written out and categorized so that I can do my weekly check-in, which will be the next video you see. So I hope you'll come back and check that video out tomorrow. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today and being my moral support as I wrote in my expenses. It's a lot. Are you guys spending like this on groceries and household items as well? Or is it just me? I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. I'd love to have you come back. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!